Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for another episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. I'm your host, Ellen Nicholas Rathbone, sensuality consultant, author, entrepreneur, and great believer in the body's ability to repair itself and to bring us great pleasure. So today I want to talk about Pompoir Power. And what that is the strength of your global muscular system. So, what is the global muscular system? Well, on the outside of your body, you have muscles that you can see. They are your biceps, your pec muscles, your gluteus maximus, all of those things. But on the inside of your body are other muscles. And one of them in particular is your pelvic floor. And you can't see your pelvic floor, but I got to tell you, it's extremely important in keeping everything where it belongs, especially as you go through your life, and especially if you're a woman and you have pregnancies, all of that, and your weight, all kinds of things affect the pelvic floor. So, if you want to know what shape your pelvic floor is in, I'd like you to answer a couple of questions for yourself. When you cough, laugh, or sneeze, does a little pee escape? That's question number one. Answer it for yourself. Number two, have you had more than two pregnancies that went to full term? Each pregnancy has an impact on the pelvic floor. Believe it or not, the human body was really just meant to have one baby. And the fact that we have two and more actually does put a great strain on the pelvic floor. Number three, are you 30 pounds or more overweight? If the more weight that you have on top of your body, the more visceral weight that you have inside of your body, and all of that plays on the pelvic floor. Now, or impacts the pelvic floor. If you were looking at the thumbnail picture, I have a picture of a hammock there. So a hammock is kind of what the pelvic floor looks like. It starts from the pubic bone and it goes back to the coccyx. And on top of it sits the uterus, so that the uterus is in place. And when the uterus opens up, the pelvic floor also opens up, and then babies come down and out. So one pregnancy, that pelvic floor will snap back up pretty fast. But two or more pregnancies, especially if you are not doing any kind of compensatory exercises, will definitely impact your pelvic floor. So, another question you should ask yourself is it really hard to hold back pee? Like, if you have to go, can you hold back, or is there going to be an accident? Do you at this point in your life need diapers for adults? They have them out there. They're not, those people are profiting off of you not doing a simple exercise. And I tell you right now, the pelvic floor has the fastest recuperative power out of any muscle in your body. So whether you're doing bicep curls or push-ups or anything else, if that's the only exercise you do, especially after you've had children, it is really, really good for you and really, really important to lift your pelvic floor back up where it belongs. Now, like any muscle of the body, it needs regular attention. I don't want you to be crazy about it, but if you only exercise any muscle on your body once a month or once whenever, you're not going to get any results. You're not going to get the results that you're looking for anyway. You might get sore, but you won't get any results. So it's important to remember that if you're going to do Kegel exercises, that you do them regularly. And how many Kegel exercises? I recommend 300. Now, if you can't do 300 all in the same time, like in a 5-minute span, I like to do them while listening to music. I pick a song, I like the beat. I do the Kegel exercises for that whole beat, boom, done. But some people can't do that. I built up to that. That wasn't something that happened overnight. So I would recommend that whenever you find yourself waiting at a light, when you're driving, um, talking on the phone with someone who's extremely boring, um, waiting in line, you wait in lines all the time. Every time you find yourself waiting, do your Kegel exercises. You might do a minute's worth, you might do 30 seconds worth, but if you do them as a habit, every time you're waiting throughout the course of your day, then by the end of the day, you'll have your 300. You don't have to make this a ridiculous exercise. This doesn't have to be something where, you're in pain to do it. It's just a habit, a very, very healthy habit to do to keep everything inside your body exactly where it belongs. Now, there are lots of benefits to doing the Kegel exercise besides keeping your bladder and your uterus where they belong. Number one is the Kegel exercise definitely increases the sensitivity of the pelvic area itself, okay, and increases the blood flow through your genitals. So it's a lot easier to have a vaginal orgasm if you want to. And it can help you maintain the strength of your bladder so that you don't lose it. The muscles inside your body are not the glamorous muscles. They're not the biceps. They're not the pecs. They're not the lats. Nobody can see them and look at them and admire them and say, oh my God, how beautiful you look. Your body is so dope. It's just so beautiful. No, they're the private muscles within your body that if they are working correctly, they give you the confidence that you need to feel good about yourself on the inside, that you know that if you laugh, cough, or sneeze, you're not going to pee on yourself. I don't care how great your pecs are. I don't care how great your butt is. If every time you laugh, cough, or sneeze, you pee on yourself, you're not going to have as much confidence as you want. And if you have to reduce yourself to wearing diapers for adults, well, that's a statement about you. And that's a statement that maybe you wouldn't want to make. So it's a good idea to consider that we need to do Kegel exercises. The human being originally was on all fours, and the pelvic floor was like this, okay? But then the human being stood up, and then the pelvic floor was like this. So consider this is something that gravity pushes down all the time. Now, if you're a healthy individual and you're at a good weight, and you do your Kegel exercises, that pelvic floor will stay strong and healthy throughout an entire lifetime. And you'll never need diapers for adults, or worse still, a pessary. You might not know what a pessary is, but it's an upside down umbrella that a doctor has to place up inside of a woman to keep her stuff from falling down. Do you want to have to go to a doctor every month to have them check your pessary? No. This is an exercise that is simple. You won't break a sweat doing it. It's going to increase the pleasure of your sex life. It's going to give you, for men, it's going to give them greater control of their ejaculation and a stronger, harder erection. For women, it's going to increase their sensitivity. It's going to keep their pelvic floor where it belongs, giving you the internal support that you need so that you can live a life of confidence. I hope you've enjoyed this talk about Pompoir Power. We all have the same parts, ladies, and if you take care of them in a conscious, mindful, consistent way, they will take care of you as well. If you ignore them or think you're going to fix them with a Band-Aid or diapers, you're just allowing the deterioration of your body. And believe me, it doesn't happen overnight, but it definitely happens. So prevent the decondition and keep yourself in good shape by doing your Kegel exercises every single day. And if not every single day, then every other day. But if you get into the habit of doing them while you're waiting, and we are waiting all the time. We're waiting for our favorite show to come on TV. We're waiting for our spouse to come home. We're waiting in a line at the store. We're waiting in a line to get into the movies. We're always finding ourselves waiting. And if you can get into the habit of taking care of yourself while you're waiting on the inside and doing those Kegel exercises, they will benefit you for a lifetime. I hope you enjoyed this presentation of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. Please join me next week for another fun topic on pleasure. I think I want to tell you about some of the most outrageous parties I've ever done. I think you'll find them pretty interesting and a lot of fun. So join me next week, same time, same place, for another great episode of Your Pleasure Incorporated into Daily Living. If you enjoyed this presentation, please like and even subscribe and tell your friends, because the people, the powers that be in these big companies, big internet holders do not allow for any kind of promotion of anything that has to do with pleasure. I mean, if I wanted to talk about other stuff that was scary, then that probably would be okay. But when you want to talk about pleasure in the human body and what you can do to make your sex life better, well, they can't hear that. So tell your friends, it's a good thing to know. And thank you so much. Please do your Kegels, do them every day. Love yourself from the inside out. Take really good care of yourselves. See you next week. Namaste.